Welcome to the Pineapple Couch with Rob. Today is Tuesday, January 12th, and this is episode 73 of the Pineapple Couch. We are going to be going all into the Super NFL Wildcard Weekend, as well as a little NBA talk right off the top. As usual, I'm joined by my three friends, the three amigos, some would say, the three caballeros, some would say. Big Dog, Mr. Andrew Radcliffe, how you doing?
Doing fantastic today.
It's good to hear from you. Josh Bilker, how you doing, my friend?
Great. Wonderful.
Kyle Castaneda, how you doing, my friend?
Howdy, howdy. Great to be here.
It is good to see the three of you because that was just off the top. We're gonna get to football in a second, but I just really wanted to say, how freaking awesome was it having three playoff games each day that just perfectly lined up the schedule so it was just never not on? I mean, come on, that was great.
It's like it's the schedule we always kind of want with those afternoon games, but they actually hit it because there's only three games to choose from, but it's great.
Yeah, it was great. But we do have some sort of, I wouldn't call it breaking news, but we've kind of expected this, but also there were some developments tonight. Again, we're recording this on Tuesday, December 12th. This pod should be coming out at midnight tomorrow morning, something like that. But James Harden and the Rockets did not fare so well against the Lakers today. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I caught about the end of the first quarter, the second quarter, and the Lakers were fucking destroying the Rockets, and it was just flat out embarrassing. James Harden was visibly frustrated the entire time.
It was like 28 to 10 at a point. I had it on silent all night, and it was just a gross game.
It was disgusting. Nobody looked good for the Rockets. There were guys that I didn't even recognize. I feel like I'm pretty in tune with rotations of teams and whatnot. And there were still guys on the Rockets that I still just haven't fucking seen in my life. And it's just embarrassing. But James Harden said in a post-game interview that the Rockets are, quote unquote, just not good enough. He loves the city. I literally have done everything that I can. I mean, the situation is crazy. It's just something that I don't think can be fixed. And then apparently he walked off the podium, did not take any more questions. I don't know about you guys, but he's going to get traded within this week. This week it's happening.
What a bitch. Like, can we
Mike Trout get into this is all I'm saying.
Before we get into like what this could mean, Kyle, James Harden's gotten everything he's asked for the entire time he has been in Houston. In the first season where he's not happy, not everything's not perfect, he does this. Kyle, does this piss you off like it pisses me off? Because I think it's kind of bullshit.
I mean, it's no surprise what we were talking about before we started airing here, that the NBA ratings are down just because now players, I mean, James Harden's fat as hell, way out of shape, clearly out of shape.
Harden plus.
He's supposed to be, one of the top 5 guys in the NBA, and he's just not giving a fuck. Kyrie Irving at his peak is supposed to be a top 10 guy in the NBA. He's really not giving a fuck. But that's a different story. But back to James Harden. I agree with Josh. He's definitely gone. But he has everything that he has asked from that franchise, they have given him. And I feel bad for the front office. I feel bad for the fans because they've done everything to cater to James Harden. And now he's acting like it's everyone else's fault and not his own. He's saying that the situation's a bad situation. It's a situation he created himself. What is he talking about? He's taking no responsibility. He's acting like it's the entire Rockets' fault that they're stuck like this. And really, it's just his fault.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just gonna say that that's the kind of player he is now. This doesn't surprise me, I guess, at the very least, how he's talking about everything and whatnot, and just unhappy because this is the kind of player that we expected Harden to be, and it's kind of just like it's nice getting that confirmation that it's not just like hearsay, all these stories that you hear about him, in a way, but like. Jesus fucking Christ. Like every single superstar that's come through that Houston door since James Harden came in has fucking hated playing with James Harden. And it's made Russell Westbrook look like a hero, which is that's saying something, that Russell Westbrook can come out as the good guy in this story of a ball dominant fucking hog stat stuffer, whatever other word you want to describe James Harden.
Well, the thing about James Harden, where we're all in agreement of how this situation is his own fault, I think the prime example of how it is all his own fault is really when you think about the whole Chris Paul Westbrook situation. So the Rockets have to trade Chris Paul when his stock is at really the lowest it was ever in his NBA career because of the injury and his arguments with Harden, and they have to pay way more than they should to send him for Russell Westbrook in turn. And then Chris Paul, what's he do? The Thunder flip him for way more than the Rockets were able to do because it was clear that Chris Paul was not washed. He was just overplaying with James Harden. And then Russell Westbrook does not want to play with James Harden, so they're forced to go get Wall. It's a net negative, everything he's had them do. And Kyle, like you mentioned Kyrie and James Harden, off the top of my head, are probably the two. It's just the most out of touch with reality people in the world, like in the league. I mean, it's just like these guys have been surrounded by yes men ever since they've been in the NBA because of their talent. They're obviously incredible players, but the idea that they think that they can go on a public stage and like James Harden wants us to feel bad for him. Boo fucking who, James Harden? Like, what the fuck? It's just they're so out of touch with reality. It's insane.
The best part is they could be future teammates in about a week time. So that's the
truth.
funniest
They'd really
part.
be a perfect fit, all three of those guys. They'd all, like, only one of them would play. Like, KD would take Monday through Wednesday, Harden would take Thursday through Friday, and Kyrie might just play Sundays.
Although if I'm the Rockets, I don't impulsively trade Harden because people are going to try and take advantage of his draft stock his trade stock is really at an all-time low right now. And they have no reason to trade him. They're 3-6 right now. They're probably going to suck this year regardless. What's the point of hurrying him out the door when you can trade him whenever you get the right package? Yep. And my biggest thing is like these teams request trades to specific teams, but who gives a shit what they request? Just trade them somewhere that's going to give you the best opportunity to recover from them leaving, even though in most scenarios where you're giving up the best player, it's probably not going to turn out well for you. I think they should sit on it for a bit, especially like maybe the trade deadline when teams start getting like really desperate and like we need one more piece to actually finish this title run. They can probably get a lot at that point in time, even though it's a little bit of ways away.
And Kyle, to your point, really quick, Josh, James Harden is not a expiring. It's not like he's a star on the, like he has one more year on his contract and he's telling you he's going to leave. The dude's got 3 or 4 more years left. Yeah. So he can say, I'm pulling this out of my ass. This is where he's going to go. But it's like, he can say, I don't want to go play for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but tough shit. They could send you there and there's nothing you could do about it. So that's what makes it unique. So Josh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. If it's anywhere he doesn't want to go, he's just gonna sit and do the same shit. And if anything,
he's gonna lose some money then.
I mean, unfortunately, this league is so player friendly, which obviously has its like really like a lot of upside to it. You know, like players having a voice and things like that. But at the same time, it's also a massive negative because these players now have the ability to sit out, and teams are afraid to find them. Teams are afraid to find these players because it already happened this year with the Rockets and Harden when he didn't show up to training camp in time. They didn't find him. And now if these players sit out, like Kyrie sitting out, there's no repercussions right now. Nothing's happening. He just says, I don't want to play, and nothing's happening. So really it's kind of biting the NBA back in the ass because they're allowing this to happen.
And that's because the teams are so fucking afraid of if they punish a guy like Kyrie Irving, like you said, or James Harden, like you said, then free agents won't want to like come to our team. And it's like this is a little, okay, everyone gives a ton of hate and shit to the Celtics for the way they handled the Isaiah Thomas situation of trading him. And it's just like, and no player would want to go play there. But at the same time, that's how players treat the teams. It's it's a business for both sides. And the lack of like understanding on that, I don't know. I think we're the next CBA. I think Josh, that 22, 23?
Should be this offseason, right?
No, it's coming up. Yeah, it's sooner.
That's going to be interesting.
Well, here's the thing, though, is so we've talked about the loss of money as being a potential motivating factor for these teams to kind of strike back harder against the players.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be 2 expansion teams, it looks like, that's going to mitigate a lot of the COVID losses, it looks like. So that's actually going to make up for a lot of the tanking TV ratings and et cetera, et cetera. That's
so is that, wait, to interrupt really quickly.
Yeah.
What are we talking, like Seattle? Where are we talking here?
That's the rumor is Seattle, Las Vegas, and they rearranged the conference.
Clippers should be sent to San Diego. Just throwing that out.
San Diego, I don't think San Diego's getting a professional sports team anytime soon after the way they treat the Chargers. Except for the Padres. They love the Padres, I guess.
That's
good for you guys.
Comic-Con.
But so that's the thing.
Fundraising Comic-Con. That's so true.
It's more important than it's the most important thing in San Diego. Anyways,
Padres and yeah, of course. But that's the thing is this expansion could happen, and this will actually. It might not be as hard as we think it was going to be, maybe as far as how hard they were going to come down on the players and fines and protocol. Et cetera, et cetera. This could just extend the player empowerment era.
So we're looking at like maybe a potential expansion draft coming up. Then
that's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for that.
You guys want that? You guys want 2 more teams?
Seattle needs a team.
Okay, Brian is hardcore no. Josh is yes. Kyle.
We have the teams that we could send to Seattle. We don't need to put more teams in.
I agree with that. However, I would love to see a team in Las Vegas.
We have the teams that we could send to Las Vegas. We do not need to.
Well, every time though they try to move a team, though there's a huge public uproar, local uproar, and it just doesn't get done. Remember the Kings like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and then
Kyle, I was born in Sacramento, and so this is just I'm saying this. This is a little off the record. I know the Sacramento fans would be mad theoretically if the Kings left. And the Kings aren't going to leave because of the new arena, Golden One Center. But theoretically, if they didn't just build that arena, if the people in Sacramento were pissed off and you took them but there's more people like Seattle, that would be a lot of fucking people would be happy. So I think that would be like, do you see
that's
what I
a
mean?
Utilitarian
like
argument.
I don't think the Kings though are a team that would move because of the new arena. I think
definitely not.
Clippers would be a team that would move.
All right.
Well,
they already have their arena already.
Is that
I won't let that happen
in process?
They had to pay James Dolan like $1 billion to get the rights to be able to build an arena
in Inglewood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So the Clippers are staying in LA, as for better or for worse. So,
I mean, I would say I'm gonna piss off fans. Like, okay, New Orleans, Charlotte.
Charlotte won't move.
I would get rid of
New
Charlotte.
Orleans.
I'd keep New Orleans. They should just be the New Orleans Jazz. That's what they should be. That's my only.
They should buy back the name.
No one in New Orleans likes basketball. Like they're football. That's football city.
It's the Saints owner also, I believe, has like a majority stake in the Pelicans as well, and reportedly didn't really care prior to them getting Zion. If they didn't get Zion, so if there wasn't league tampering. Conspiracy
there was
insane. They probably would have been moved, like for sure. After the whole Anthony Davis fiasco, if they didn't have a single fucking exciting player at all, they would have been moved for sure. Like I don't think they would have cared enough. But even Minnesota's selling the team as well, and
I think you guys actually might be right though about we might need to have an expansion because I'm going through the names in my head.
It makes more sense too, just based on the financial situation as well. And I think 32 teams is a good number, honestly. Like I like how the NFL has everything set up. You have your 4 divisional teams, so you'll probably have to restructure that as well. 16 teams per conference. The numbers kind of work.
Hypothetical question: if we got rid of the Orlando Magic, would really anyone care?
No.
They have a lot of Disney support too, though. Is the thing they have so much.
Get them out of there. Sorry.
The pineapple couch will not be getting picked up by so there goes that advertisement potential. Kyle, do you have anything on this? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it would be really interesting to see an expansion draft at the same time for everyone's favorite team. That would be really shitty because I think you'd be able to keep safe like your top. You get to choose like 4 players, 4 or 5 players.
I think it's more than that.
Remember when the Kings lost Gerald Wallace? That sucked. I was like, I'm not trying to give you shit there. Like, I remember being like bummed. That was annoying. It was like the Bobcats. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm excited for that though. Is like all the technical rules.
What was cool about the hockey expansion draft was they basically just got the fifth best player on every single team and made an entire squad of fifth best players. But they had 3 phases that they were able to run of fifth best players. So they went all the way to the Stanley Cup. So it'd be cool to see something like that happen in the NBA too, where it's like you expect nothing from these expansion teams. In the first season, they just come out guns blazing.
Yeah, that would be cool. So we're thinking Seattle, Las Vegas.
That's my guess. Louisville has a lot of hype too.
Does have to be.
Las Vegas is going to be one. Any sport that adds a team is going to be Las Vegas now, and then Seattle because so many people miss.
It's ridiculous that Seattle doesn't have a basketball team.
They're actually like one of the biggest basketball hubs in America. Actually, apparently, is because it rains all the time.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
It rains so
Jamal
much they have to play indoor sports. Yeah, Zach LaVine I think is from there too potentially. So they play indoor sports because they can't do it with the rain. So it makes sense.
That's this week's weather report from Josh on the Pineapple Couch. Thank you, Josh. Rain equals better basketball players. Josh Bilker. I'm giving you shit. You might actually have a point to that, Josh.
I'm absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay. You should write a thesis about that. We could go through it. Gentlemen, anything left on the NBA we want to touch on before we just dive into this weekend's NFL games? All right, let's do it. Let's talk about some football. Really just a spectacular weekend. All the games were great, I think, really, besides Bears-Saints. But Bears-Saints was on Nickelodeon, so we could talk about that a little bit. First, though, we're going to start with the Stallion. He beat the Colts. He beat the Sheriff. He beat Phil Rivers.
Sheriff.
Buffalo 27, Indianapolis 24. Josh Allen, 324 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 54 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 6 receptions, 128 yards, a touchdown. The Bills actually did not play one of their better games this season. It was a very close game. Phil Rivers, actually, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Tough at the end. They couldn't get anything on that last drive when they were trying to throw it really out of bounds. Tough ending. I gotta say, because listen, you guys know what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about this game. I'm thinking about my guy Phil. I thought it was a good showing from him, and I actually don't think he is done. Frank Reich said he wants him back next year. So now that we have my Phillip Rivers love out of the way, and I love him, the Bills, holy fucking shit, let's fucking go. They are going to make a run, gentlemen. This was their iffy game of the playoffs, but Josh Allen is like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. It's getting to that level of how much of a playmaker this dude is. They did not play that well, but Josh Allen was the reason that fucking throw he had to the Dawson Knox in the end zone. He is just such a playmaker. So I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to go to Big Dog. Big Dog. I know it was a close game, but how high are we on these Bills, and what do you think of Phil's performance?
Well, Phil was very close. I really think the Colts.
A lot of drops. That Michael Pittman drop, holy shit. That
is a perfect little segue because I was going to say they really don't have playmakers. Who do they have playmaker-wise? The Colts.
Jonathan Taylor.
It's Jonathan Taylor, the running backs, Nyheim Hines. Both the running backs. And
T.Y. Hilton kind of was non-existent this year.
And he's a little long in the tooth. He's not bad, but he doesn't have the explosive he used to have. I hope Phil stays there one more year, but for the Bills side, this is just like a classic. You kind of start off a little slow. They haven't been at the playoffs in 25 years, 30 years?
No, they were there last year. They just lost.
Okay.
They haven't won, and
they haven't won in 25.
Yeah. Since the Jim Kelly era.
Josh Allen, I saw some tweets and things. People compare Lamar Jackson to Patrick Mahomes last year. People are doing that and saying they'd rather have Josh Allen because he's bigger, he has a stronger arm, and I'm not saying that at all. But it's funny that it's circulating out there the same kind of rumors that he's He's legit and he's good. He almost had that fumble at the end where he almost cost the game. And it's like he tries to break a sack and then he does this little stallion thing and
that's
he
why
kicks
he's a
it 22
stallion.
yards. It was so fun to watch though. And he got the ball back. But I mean, Bills are good. Bills are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Josh, I'll go to this on you. The Diggs Allen connection. It's hard to think of a better quarterback. I would say this season, the Diggs Allen connection. It was Rodgers Adams and Diggs Allen. Those were the Rodgers Adams will get it, but I think Diggs Allen actually is not too far behind that in terms of the production they had this year. Is that crazy to say?
No, and what's crazier even is it's a new fucking acquisition from that offseason with a shortened offseason, no training camps either, and no preseason, and they were still that in sync basically from day one. I mean, I think he got off to a little bit of a shaky start, but like I think by game 2 or 3, I mean, that was already, you knew that Diggs was amazing and completely changed his whole fucking narrative too, because he was actually pretty problematic in Minnesota.
Was Kirk Cousins your quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is because he realized Kirk Cousins wasn't the guy. And now he gets it behind, it looks like, what is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, as we said. I fucking love Diggs. I think he's one of my favorite receivers to watch, et cetera, et cetera. All the praises to Stephon Diggs, though. He's great.
Okay. And now, Kyle, based off this game, so again, Bills win by 3. Has your opinion changed? Give us like a little temperature check on where you're at with the Bills, and did this weekend really affect it?
I think that at least from the AFC perspective, and especially with the Steelers out now, that's the toughest defense they're probably going to play the whole time. And they were able to handle them. Obviously, it's not the most powerful offense they're going to see, but they were still able to really. I feel like they kind of let off the gas a little bit there near the end of the fourth quarter when they're up by, I think it was like 9 or 10 points or 11 or whatever it was. I wouldn't say it changed my opinion too much. I still think the Bills are going to give the Chiefs a run for their money, which, by the way, I absolutely cannot wait to finally have 2 young quarterbacks, 2 guys who are like under 26, 27 years old being in the AFC Championship game instead of it being, a Brady. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait. So we got Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, and Baker.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
AFC. That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
That's fun. And then
all young.
Think about the future of the AFC. You're going to be able to throw in Herbert. Right. That's exciting for the future of the AFC. Those 5 quarterbacks. I mean, I don't think that's really
Chargers plug there.
Thank you.
Yeah, not unless they sign Jason Garrett. So
it's funny because in the NFC you got Brees, Brady, and Rodgers still. So it's the complete opposite in the NFC. You got the classic 3 against the new.
That's
even you got Alex Smith now too, who's an old timer.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Wait, so what do we got in the end? We have
You got Rodgers there. You got the Rodgers, Buccaneers, Saints, and then who's the other team?
Seahawks.
Rams. Goff.
Rams. Well, Jared Goff plays like a 40-year-old.
Plays like fuck. Good.
Yes, you're on the same page. Yeah. All right. Any other?
Yeah. So,
Josh, take it.
Zach Moss out for the postseason. Not a huge. I don't think it's a huge loss, but the run game is already kind of questionable for the Bills. That's the only thing that kind of worries me, is I guess just not getting any other thing than the pass going. They just signed Devontae Freeman, though, apparently, to replace Zach Moss. So I don't know what to make of that. But
you got to hope then, if you're the Bills, that Josh Allen could maybe offset that the running game. I mean, we'll talk about that.
I don't think when it comes to playing Pat Mahomes that the running game is going to matter too much. I'm not worried about. I'm not really that worried about Zach Moss being out.
Good point. Let's go to the next game then. This was, I guess, I would say the most surprising, or no, second most surprising. I don't know. This is one of the more surprising games of the weekend for me. The Rams beat the Seahawks. They win 30-20. You get Cam Akers with 131 yards on the ground, a touchdown, 2 receptions, 45 yards. Aaron Donald doing Aaron Donald things, 2 sacks. Russell Wilson, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 50 rushing yards. Metcalf, 5 receptions, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. I have 2 takeaways from this game. One, Sean McVay is a better coach than Pete Carroll. And this next one I'm not as confident about. It's not really like it's just when are we going to start giving Russell Wilson shit for how he plays in the playoffs? Like, when are we like I am a Russell Wilson guy, not as much as Big. Like, I think he's very good, but like, come on, like it's enough is enough. Like that pick six was fucking the pick was terrible. I mean, he's great, but there needs to be some sort of accountability because this has happened like what 5 years in a row. I'll go to Kyle or Big Dog. You start, and then I'll go to Kyle because I went to Kyle last. But Big Dog, go because I know this is.
Russell Wilson, he only has one playoff win since 2017. So that kind of backs up your point a little bit. But I mean, the guy was sacked the most this year, so I think he's got like 55 sacks against him. So I mean, I think obviously he doesn't have a great offensive line. Yeah, he's got good receivers, but then they just do
the ball
weird
too much.
I mean, maybe, but it's just
because the thing is, Andrew, we're both so like.
We know.
I'm not saying he's bad, and I think it's just like when these things keep happening again and again, it's like we got to kind of look at it. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of twofold here. First of all, on Russell Wilson himself, he always tries to turn shit into sugar. And sometimes, we were seeing at the beginning of the season, he was making tremendous plays from collapsing pockets, rolling outside, hucking it 50 yards downfield. And sometimes it does work, but in the playoffs, that's not going to work most of the time. And what ends up happening instead, you get sacked, you take a big loss, you get a penalty on offense for your offensive line, trying to like keep that pressure off you as much as possible. One thing he never does, and I didn't look up the stats, I should have, he never checks down the ball. I know we give a lot of players a lot of shit for checking down the ball, Derek Carr, myself, but to not ever do it, there are certain situations where you probably should do it where it's just a quick option, get you 3 or 4 yards, set you up for a second down, as opposed to being 2nd and 15 on a sack. So that's my first thing with him in playoffs. And second is, to your point, Brian, is I think Pete Carroll is his best years are behind him. I mean, the fact that he went into that playoff game and came out with the notion of we need to run the ball more was what their problem was. Especially when Chris Carson's your running back and that's your offensive line, you decide you need to run more. That's why you guys lost. You guys lost because you keep running the ball so much and you're not allowing these plays and developing these plays for Russell Wilson to be able to accentuate his best abilities.
Mm-hmm. And
they just signed Carroll, right, to an extension like halfway through this year. Didn't he get an extension, Pete Carroll?
He got an extension, I think, last year, maybe this year. But he came out with that quote yesterday saying they need to run the ball more. And then today, the offensive coordinator was fired because of philosophical differences.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, I'm going to go to you in a second. I just really want to quickly check back with Big Dog. So, Big Dog, remember the whole let Russ cook thing in the beginning of the season?
Mm-hmm.
The reason for let Russ cook was because of how pissed off all of us as football fans were after seeing the way the Seahawks played in the playoffs last year of really like the stupid running the ball and not letting Russell Wilson do this. And then this year they start with, okay, we'll let Russ cook. And then they do the same damn thing.
They just have that Charger mentality. They're deep down inside them. They just don't learn. They don't let the guy cook. And I mean, I don't think, Russell, it wasn't a great game, but I mean, when you run the ball, crappy offensive line, and it's just, they really didn't look good the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. It all just kind of collapsed on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Josh, let's talk about the Rams here. Aaron Donald, obviously a force of nature. We've liked what we've seen from the Rams defense a lot this year. Because we've talked about this on the pod. There's an argument that the Rams have the two best, the best maybe combo of two defensive players in Ramsey and Donald of what they can do. Again, Jared Goff has gotten some grief on this podcast. I'm not totally out on Goff. I have gotten more out over the season. But Josh, what are you thinking for the Rams going forward? Are we thinking optimistic? We got to be 30-20 or give us a reality check here, I guess.
It's entirely the defense, and the team goes as far as the defense allows them to. Cam Akers was spectacular Sunday, but I'm worried about the quarterback situation because Goff only played because Wolford got that freak neck. I'm not freak accident, but like he got fucking annihilated, and I just don't know what level of confidence that says. Obviously, in Jared Goff, that you have a thumb injury, sure, but you're still not the go-to guy here, and it's scary. The fact Sean McVay said in a couple interviews last week that he kind of liked a lot more things that Wolford brings to the table. Now, maybe that's just him being the optimist and just trying to like instill confidence in his guy and try to rise up maybe the backup quarterback. I don't fucking know. I don't play the mind games with the quarterback or the head coaches, but I still don't think that this team has a total Super Bowl run. I think they're gonna get kind of killed by the Packers this week is my guess. I just think Rodgers is just gonna be able to figure out this defense.
Potential snow showers in Los Angeles. We don't like snow.
Yeah, it's not a good combo there.
It's
and
cold
as good as
weather, a
Andrew,
mother
I might be
hater
back
in
on my
Green Bay.
bullshit.
I don't see Goff
Lord forgive me.
playing for it, and I don't think this defense is going to be able to figure out fucking Rodgers either. On top of that, I think Rodgers is too good.
I think we can criticize a lot of things about the Rams, but their defense, I don't know. I think they'll be able to throw something at them.
Sean McVay stays 37-0 when leading at halftime now. 37-0.
Yeah, actually, I was with people who were watching the game, and I said that stat to them, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah,
That's insane. 37-0.
that's coaching. That
is
dude's a beast." Okay, let's get to the last of the Saturday games. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Washington Football Team. Tampa Bay 31, Washington 23. Tom Brady 381 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette 93 yards on the ground, a touchdown, 4 receptions, 39 yards. A great game from him, actually. Mike Evans also 119 yards through the air. AB got a touchdown. Levante David just continues to be just a fucking monster year after year. 8 tackles and a sack. And then from the Washington Football Team, Josh, we're going to start with you. Taylor Heineke, 306 yards, a touchdown. He had a pick, but 46 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. I liked what I saw out of this guy, and maybe I fall too much to this type of story. Like, I love my guy Minshew. I think he might have a future too. Is Heineke, maybe we're going to see a little Minshew? Like, is he coming back as your Washington Football Team fan? Josh, what was your takeaway on this game? Again, the Bucs win, but we're going to start with Josh and the Washington Football Team.
Another reality check. No, I don't think Heineke's the future at all.
I do.
I think here's the thing though. I think this is a case of just this is a quarterback no one knows anything about. He's on a spotlight game. He outperforms what he usually would do. I mean, he's bounced around a lot. He was on the fucking practice squad, and he was the fifth string quarterback.
The AFL, baby. Let's go. Or what was it? No, was it the AFL last year?
The XFL.
XFL. Okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
This is the problem is he's going to play himself into this conversation now with that game. And it's just going to create another stupid quarterback controversy between probably him, Alex Smith, once he recovers again. And then I'm assuming they're probably going to draft a young guy, potentially, maybe fucking the Alabama quarterback. I don't know. I think he's going to be actually pretty good as like a stash guy is my guess. Anyways, I don't think he's good is what I'm saying. I just think that it's maybe just another Minshew hype thing. You mentioned Minshew, and I think people are going to figure him out pretty quickly. And I just don't think he's going to be doing the portrayal we saw on Saturday. I don't see it happening.
Okay, and I'm gonna go rapid fire to each one of you on a scale, or just like a grading scale, like in school, A to F. What grade would you give Ron Rivera on his first year with the Washington Football Team? Kyle, Big Dog, Josh.
Wait, and let me remind you, he beat cancer, for the record. Okay,
good to know. What a fucking warrior.
Add an extra grade.
Yeah, whatever
Kyle.
you were gonna say, added another letter.
I think outside of just the cancer, just the entire disorganization of the football team organization. I mean, I've got to give him. I've got to give him a B. I'll give him a B. I do think the fact that he made playoffs is kind of overshadowing the fact that he did have a losing record in the shittiest division of all football. So that is something to also consider as well too. But everything, that whole situation, give him a B.
Mm-hmm. Big Doug.
So I'm gonna throw a B+ at him for like the same reasons, except they did win the division, so that is something. I mean,
True.
You didn't know who your quarterback was, but you had to go between Haskins, someone who almost had their leg amputated, and then you end up starting the AFL guy in the playoffs, and it's pretty impressive.
XFL.
Yeah, AFL, XFL.
Same thing. Yeah, why not?
B+.
Wasn't there an alliance? Wasn't there an alliance of football? Right?
I think there was supposed to be an alliance. There was supposed to be another league or something.
Canceled?
Or because there was one that I forget if it was the AFL or the XFL that lasted like 6-7 weeks.
The AFL was the old league, obviously, too.
AFL's the old league.
There was like a new thing they tried to do. But
there's arena football, and then there's the.
Then they did
football.
like that XFL thing, and then there was supposed to be like another. Like Vince McMahon had one, and then they were supposed to do
that's the
another
XFL.
one that didn't even. But then there was supposed to be another one that didn't make it too.
There wasn't one
that
was called
that was like more extreme, right?
There was
one because there's that one Sunday after the Super Bowl.
It's gonna be the XXXFL.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, give us your grade on Ron Rivera.
I'm gonna give him C+. I'm gonna be a little hard on my guy. I think the defense was great. I just think that they shouldn't have won this division. I mean, give it to a team that actually wants to make the playoffs for some stupid reason. Get a better draft pick. Get somebody better.
Eagles wanted to make the playoffs?
No, I don't. Not after Sunday. Also called the Peterson firing, by the way. So I'm gonna give myself props on that one after the Week 17 performance. That was. Thank you. Hi.
Well, Doug Peterson
gave him a
it up.
fucking C+.
Yeah, I give him a C+. I think he was good, but the offense was a fucking joke.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin's fantastic. He's also one of my favorite receivers in football. But I just think that they need to get a quarterback. They need a true and tried quarterback now, and they need to get a top pick for that.
That's fucking ridiculous, Josh. I'll give my grade. I'm gonna give him an A. Think about the things this motherfucker had to deal with. He had to deal with a first-round draft pick in Dwayne Haskins, who was so bad at remembering the playbook last year that they had him get tested for dyslexia. He had a quarterback in Alex Smith who is a warrior, but his leg almost got amputated. And he came back. He had to deal with Dan Snyder, who's getting invested for like fucking Jeffrey Epstein's fucking sex.
I forgot about the Dan Snyder thing.
He had
they
to
don't
beat
even have
cancer.
a name.
He had to deal with being in a division with the New York Giants and the Cowboys, who everything is fucking rigged for them. This dude did everything how could you this team sucks besides their defensive line, and he made they had the number one passing off defense in one point, and so I just really don't know how you could have been better in this situation. So Ron Rivera, A+. I don't because who's taking is Bill Belichick making this Washington football team win the Super Bowl this year? I don't think so. I mean, maybe you give him
You're right.
Really?
You know what? This is the ceiling of this team. I think it's better than the ceiling of this team. Yeah,
all right. Yep. Bucks win 31-23. Let's go to the next game. The first game on Sunday, we had the Baltimore Ravens beat the Tennessee Titans 20-13. Lamar Jackson, 179 yards passing, an interception, 136 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown, and an all-time Lamar highlight of just breakout speed in his dash to the end zone. Marquise Brown, 7 receptions, 109 yards. Marcus Peters, huge pick, dances on the logo with the team. We'll get to that in a bit. Ryan Tannehill, 165 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Derrick Henry, this is probably the story of the game, 18 rushes, 40 yards, 0 touchdowns. Vrabel's play calling, problematic, especially the punt. A.J. Brown, 6 receptions, 83 yards, a touchdown. I'm going to start with Big Dog on this one. Big Dog, what was your biggest takeaway? Was it follies by the Titans or the dominance of the Ravens defense and Lamar's great game?
It's kind of just like a perfect game for the Ravens because, like you said, Vrabel had a couple questionable calls where they didn't go for it on fourth down towards the end there. Derrick Henry was shut down, which is the bit. I mean, if you shut down Derrick Henry, you shut down the Titans because the Ravens are a good enough defense. You know, Marcus Peters and others, they're good enough to hang around. And then Lamar Jackson, it wasn't fantastic passing, but as we know, that's just really not his game. He's a hybrid quarterback, and he can get you 130 yards. He can be Derrick Henry himself and have those explosive plays, which makes him so dangerous.
He broke the back of the Titans with those runs towards the end of the game. Josh, we'll go to you. Takeaways from this game.
Yeah, I think this is kind of how I expected this to play out. I think just because how good the Ravens have looked, and
I was surprised.
Yeah, I just think the Titans
Henry
are kind of
shocking.
The Henry thing is kind of crazy, but the if you were able to do that to Henry, absolutely you're going to win that game, of course. I think the Ravens are scorching. The Titans were just somewhat fraudulent the entire season. It just wasn't one of their good days offensively. And credit to the Ravens defense on that. And credit to Andrew again also because he mentioned that the Ravens playoff run was a real deal like a month ago now, so that they were going to be one of the hardest teams to play in the playoffs. And congratulations to Lamar for winning his first playoff game in 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, he's right back on track. 1-2, but I mean that's how you got to start. So, I mean, good for the Ravens. I'm rooting for them. I still want the Bills to beat them, but I wouldn't be shocked either though if the Ravens won that game. So,
Kyle, to you on this Ravens-Titans game, some takeaways.
Yeah, first of all, I love Lamar Jackson. I'm really glad that he got the monkey off his back just getting that first playoff win. I think the biggest takeaway, though, is just Mike Vrabel, his cowardly, atrocious coaching in that game.
That punt, dude.
Two of them. Didn't he have two? He had two punts, like one in the third quarter, one in the fourth quarter.
And just the fucking play calling.
It's like, so his thing is he has his game plan. And he kind of thinks no one's going to stop my game plan. But as soon as someone does stop his game plan, he refuses to divert from that original game plan. So when Derrick Henry can't rush the ball, he still says, well, we're still going to rush it on first and second down with Derrick Henry and see what happens. I mean, I can't even count how many third and longs they had just because he kept running it on first and second down every single time and it wasn't working. So I think this really showed his ceiling as a coach if he's not willing to be more flexible with his play calling.
Yeah, this was an eye-opener for me, Kyle, because Kyle, you actually showed me this guy, Warren Sharp. He's a good football analyst on Twitter.
Yeah, he's great.
Very good. Yeah, he hates Anthony Lynn just as much as I do. But he had some sort of stat that he put out during that game about how Derrick Henry, just the yards per rush on first down compared to Tannehill when he was running it later. It's just... As a Chargers fan, I know how much it sucks to see your team run it on first down up the middle every single play. And it, as good as Derrick Henry is, this is a nice reminder of how
the league
doesn't
has
matter
changed.
how good it is.
No matter who you are, if everyone in the world knows you're doing an HB dive, you will not get 1 yard. I promise you.
And we were just talking about he was like the greatest running back of our like one of the greatest of our at least lifetimes. And if you can't get your run game going with the greatest running back ever, you're lucky you have that guy to begin with. It's not going to work in the future. Like as soon as Derrick Henry's off your team, your run game is not going to work. Warren Sharp went deep into it. Also another Twitter follow for you. Ben Baldwin went into it a lot as well too. He's another analytics guy that breaking down the EPA on first down runs versus first down passes, and it was significantly better when the ball was in Tannehill's hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's just like a predictability thing, and you can kind of get away with it in the regular season against a lot of teams because of Derrick Henry. But when you're playing a John Harbaugh coach team, especially this Ravens defense, you're not going to get away with shit like that, especially in the playoffs. So let's go to the next game. Saints, they take care of the Bears in the Nickelodeon game, 21-9. The game really was decided, I think, by that giant touchdown drop by is it Javon Wims? It's Wims. It's Jay Wims. Javon.
I remember the play. It was like the trick play. I mean,
it was a perfect trick. Perfect trick play.
His best pass.
Dime by Trubisky. A perfect pass. Just
I have a theory.
A terrible
He wasn't expecting Trubisky. Yeah, he wasn't expecting Trubisky to throw a perfect pass.
Wait.
It was used for him.
Oh, nice, Josh.
That was all it was.
I love the conspiracy.
So that as soon as that pass was dropped, I knew the game was over. I honestly think if that pass is caught, we're looking at a totally different game. But because again, the Saints dynamic offense only scored 21 points. The Bears do have a good defense. But Brees 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kamara 99 rushing yards, a touchdown. Michael Thomas 5 receptions, 73 yards, a touchdown. Trubisky 199 yards and a touchdown, which included the crazy garbage time touchdown to Jimmy Graham with the incredible catch. And because of the stupid fucking rule that they put in the NFL recently, they don't kick the extra point at the end of the game when it doesn't matter, which cost me like $25, you stupid douchebags, because I had the Bears plus 11.5. God damn.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck?
Where's the sportsmanship, God.
What the fuck?
Little pride, Get that extra point in there, go into the next season thinking it's like, yeah, we only lost by 11.
Unreal. I just hate that shit. So going in on this game, Kyle, I'll start with you. The Bears, do you take anything from this win for the Saints, or is it just this is the Bears and the Bears aren't good?
Well, one thing I take away is the end zone is now forever known as the slime zone to me. But
did you listen to that broadcast?
Yeah, it was a little painful for me to listen to. I get what they were trying to accomplish, but
David Montgomery's favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla.
Juju Smith-Schuster's favorite emoji is the chef.
The best part was really quickly, Kyle, I'll let you go. But it was some broadcasting guy, Nate Burleson, and then I guess some Nickelodeon star, right?
It's Ian Eagle's son.
Actually. Yeah, it was him, and then this girl who's like a Nickelodeon star. And I shit you guys not. It's like there's the kickoff and then the first play. And they go to her, "Hey, I know it's early, Gabby, but what are your thoughts on this game?" And she's like, "It's really cool to see all the players taking it seriously." And then it's like, okay. And then it's like the biggest reaction that we got out of, because I was fascinated by this broadcast. The young Nickelodeon star, no touchdown took her breath away. It was actually like a 37-yard punt. It was like, whoa! So the Nickelodeon broadcast
like that.
The 60-second debate on what the players do when they have to go to the bathroom. Did you hear that one?
Oh, but then he asked her what she has to go do when she has to go to the bathroom.
That made me really uncomfortable. Yeah,
problematic.
There were some uncomfortable moments.
I didn't see this at all. I watched it on.
You watched Tony and Jim Nance.
First go around.
Yeah, me and Tim Hall. Shout out to Tim. We watched the Nickelodeon version. Kyle, regardless of the Nickelodeon, again though, Saints. What are you taking from the Saints? Are you feeling positive about their momentum going forward from this game? What are you thinking?
Well, I think the fact that we had so much to talk about the broadcast goes to show that there wasn't really anything that impressive from that game. Yep. Nothing really stood out to me. Michael Thomas at least is back running slants again. He at least is a part of the offense, but nothing really stands out to me for the Saints, which is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, it is. I'll go to you, Josh. Any big takeaways from this game?
Yeah, it's more so just that this was kind of a bye week game, I feel like, because it kind of got Mike Thomas kind of back in the foray, and I think that's really fucking smart of them to do. They really got him involved, and they seem to make an effort to find that connection. And he had probably his best game of the season, so that's potentially dangerous if they can keep that chemistry and momentum up from there. Kamara didn't look amazing. Trubisky didn't play terrible. I mean, he's
not bad.
He's not. No, I agree.
This is credit to Big Cat, Barstool Big Cat. He said this: Matt Nagy doesn't trust Mitch Trubisky at all, so he sends him out there with handcuffs.
That's exactly right. And I think Nagy's the one that has to go first before you try to move off from Trubisky, because I do think Trubisky could still develop into something. I think he's just in a really shitty situation, and Nagy is fucking basically, what is it called when you cut off your pet's balls? What's that called again?
Neutering.
What's neutering? Yeah, I think he neutered Trubisky. And
What is it when you cut off your pet's balls?
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry to any dogs out there listening. Come on. We love dogs here on the Pineapple
Sorry,
Couch.
Big Dog will never be neutered, at least. So props to you. And he won the MVP, the most important trophy of the entire season. So the Nickelodeon, what was it, valuable player?
I mean, I don't want to have to. I'll shout out Big Cat again because Big Cat just totally rigged that.
It's hilarious. I really wanted them to do the interview with the other Nickelodeon sideline kid and just give it to Trubisky after like a humiliating loss, and just like that would have made my day. But it was. Yeah, this game sucked. I hated it.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be bad. You knew it was going to be bad once they gave it to Nickelodeon for the broadcast. Is the thing.
It was the shit game of the week. Big Dog. Takeaways on this game from the Saints side, and then are the Bears going to move on from both Nagy and Trubisky, or just one of them? So start with Saints and then go to that.
So this game, it sounded like because I was on the traditional Fox or CBS, whatever was on. It sounded like you guys were watching a whole different football game and plays that I missed and stuff, but you guys just had good side conversation.
Young Sheldon was like the referee.
Yeah, they did. They had young Sheldon explain the flag. That's the worst moment. I almost shut off the broadcast after that, but I was so fascinated.
I hope there's one this week because I want to see it.
But I don't think so.
It's over. It's already done.
Yep. The next year. This time next year.
We did get an XFL league or something for them, but this game sucked. I mean, the Bears didn't score, and you kind of knew once that pass was dropped, it was like they were going to maybe score 13 points this game, and I was just rooting for the plus 10.5, 11.5 the entire time. And then the Saints, what did they do so special? Nothing. They didn't do anything special. They scored 3 touchdowns against an average 8-8, 9-7 football team. That's it.
And they got, this should have been a 21-16 game.
Because all this team relies on right now is like
touchdown, though.
If Drew Brees was Drew Brees 6 years ago and he's like, wow, Drew Brees, this team super, but I don't believe it because they have a great defense. Kamara's great. They got Thomas, you got other receivers, but what are they going to actually do if I don't see them actually advancing?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to the next game. This was just as a Chargers fan who's watched the Steelers beat the Chargers in the playoffs like 3 or 4 times in my life. Watching the Browns beat the fuck out of the Steelers was fucking awesome. Did you guys see Ben Roethlisberger crying at the end? Yeah. I wanted to bottle and drink those tears. I wanted every part of it. Baker Mayfield. I think, remember when, what was this, Andrew? Was this like 5 or 6 weeks ago when Joe Rinaldi just came at Baker Mayfield?
Right? Yeah, it was probably that or last
Baker
week.
Baker has been on fire since. He goes 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. Some of the shout out to Warren Sharp again. He was showing up the Steelers putting linebackers on Jarvis Landry in the slot, just absolutely abusing them. Landry, 5 receptions, 92 yards, a touchdown. The Browns take a 28-0 lead in the first quarter, most points scored in the first quarter in playoff history. They almost blow it a little at the end because the Steelers are coming back slightly, and then Mike Tomlin decides to punt in another stupid-ass punting scenario that really killed all their momentum because the Browns just went and scored. But, the combination of Chubb and Hunt, 76 yards rushing for Chubb, and then also 4 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. Hunt with 48 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. The Browns are a legitimate team, and it's just they're running into a juggernaut next weekend, so it'll be hard to see. It's hard to say, I think they can shock the world. But I do like what I saw out of the Browns. And again, they did not have Kevin Stefanski. Their special teams coordinator was their head coach. So after all that rambling, I'll start with Josh. What was your big takeaway from this?
Yeah, I think this was completely counter to what we've expected from the fact that coaches have been out with COVID or whatever. Because it was the Clemson game on New Year's, and then it was the Lions game on Christmas where the Buccaneers put up No, the Saints. Sorry, the Saints put up like 50 on them. So I wasn't expecting. I was really expecting the opposite. I thought when I saw the score, I was like, oh, the Steelers are up by 28, and I did a fucking double take. Like it wowed me. I thought the game was on at 5:40, so that's why I tuned in a little late. And I was like, oh, this game's already over. Yeah, the Browns fucking great, and I love seeing like this whole kind of Baker tour of like fuck you guys, basically, to like Colin Coward.
Fuck you tour. It's great.
Yeah, it's a fuck you tour. It's great, and the fact is that the Steelers receivers are still doubling down. Like Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster still doubling down on the fuck the Browns mentality. That's dumb. Like, just fucking just don't say anything until next season, dude.
They need to shut the fuck up. Juju had a good game, 13 receptions, 150 yards, a touchdown.
Garbage time. Garbage
Big Ben, even Big Ben stats, 47 of 68, 501 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Okay.
Garbage time.
He has the whole one play action.
Let's not forget, he had to throw for 501 yards because he threw 4 interceptions and had a lot of ground to make up there.
And Kyle, I sensed your animosity, and I'm going to tee you off with this. Fuck Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, shut the fuck up.
Those guys, the young receivers in that team, like, they're good, don't get me wrong. They're great receivers, but, like, this whole mentality of the world is against me and like, oh, the odds are stacked against me. It's like, no, you're dancing. People are making fun of you for dancing, not because you have some sort of big adversity. Stop acting like a child and start acting like a professional on the football field, and maybe people will give you more respect.
Yeah. Really quick, Kyle, where do you think you saw the Chase Claypool quote today, right? How he said, like, basically how the Browns suck. What outlet do you think that came from? That came from fucking TikTok Live. Is this dude 13?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny is someone from Barstool responded to him saying that you're 1-2 against the Browns in your career.
I was Jeff D. Lowe, and he had like all his little like action figures out, and Claypool called him a nerd, and Jeff was like, fair.
I do want to say one thing about this game, though. The biggest takeaway that I had was if the Steelers are serious about taking this young team to the playoff or taking them deep into the playoffs, you got to get rid of Big Ben next season. You got to get someone else in there who at least has half a pulse to be able to play quarterback, because Big Ben has been truly horrendous the past 5 games since they've stopped that 11 game.
Half a pulse. That sounds like Trubisky.
Bill has been better, Big Ben. Thank you, Andrew.
You got to think about it. They have all these players, like young players, on like team favorite contracts right now, especially with Watt and obviously with Chase Claypool being a rookie. But
like
you can take advantage of it
too. Yeah, I mean, Kyle, I think you bring up great points, so I'll just throw what Kyle said at you, big dog. We saw Big Ben basically crying on the sidelines. Have we seen the last of Big Ben?
I don't think so. I think he comes back. He seems like he wants to linger around. I'm gonna be honest though. Should he come back? Most likely, if the Steelers want the same exact season as this year or something similar to it, then bring him back. If they want to actually try to advance, I'd get someone else. But
Carson Wentz just traded Pennsylvania teams.
But honestly, like, yeah, the Browns are winning 28-0, and like they killed the Steelers. They did not impress. I mean, they impressed me with the fact that they really practiced and didn't have their coaches. Did they really look that good? I mean, the first play of the game was snapped over their head. They're down a touchdown. Then you have Nick Chubb going for like a 40 or 50-yard run. Then you have a Jarvis Landry. I mean, Baker Mayfield threw it 7 yards, and Landry ran for 45.
Yeah.
There is just like, I'm on the Baker train, and I like it, but it's like, dude, they didn't do shit. And it's like, I almost am considering locking the Chiefs -10 right now, because I think the Browns are so high. They haven't won since Bill Belichick was their coach in the 90s, and Barry Sanders was the leader
Andrew,
rushing yards that
everything you're saying is lending to the conversation of how we were talking about all year. The Steelers are frauds. Like, maybe we were overrating a lot of the AFC this year. Maybe it really is only the Chiefs and Bills and potentially the Ravens. Like, because you're right. I was very worried about that lead all game, and it's Baker
If they
did
go
show us
for
a
it on
lot,
4th
but
and 1 and the Steelers score, yeah, we can play the what if game all you want, but they make it 35-30 or whatever, and there's 9-10 minutes left. Steelers are winning that game.
Josh,
Is that anyone? I mean,
Josh, what are you
Steelers would have
thinking?
won that game.
Yeah, but
They did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Josh,
What was that?
what are you thinking about
Oh,
this?
just
How are you?
yeah.
I'm not going to go into next week's games because we'll talk about it in a second. But Big Ben stay or retire. Browns impress. Yes or no?
I mean, the Steelers absolutely blew that game. I think Big Ben should be done, but I agree with Andrew. This isn't it for him. He's coming back for sure. I think it'd be cool though to have some. I don't know, just do the Aaron Rodgers thing. Just draft. Maybe that's the solution for all these old quarterbacks. Draft a young guy in the first round. Light a fire under the vet. See what happens. And then if they do crumble, then Jalen hurts them. I don't know. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Jordan Love.
I just want to wrap up with the Steelers though, because I keep bringing up Warren Sharp and saying this to Kyle because he had all the lineups of basically linebackers having to guard Jarvis Landry. And Andrew, you remember the Chargers' great season a couple years ago? Remember the Steelers win when we beat the Steelers?
Yes, I do. Sunday Night
Guess
Football.
who was matched up consistently against Keenan Allen in the slot? Linebackers. So that is a problem if you're a Steelers fan looking forward, that continuously is happening. So just some food for thought. Gentlemen, let's look into this weekend's games. It's a little early, but fuck it. We want to give you our picks now, so that's what we're going to do. We'll probably be back later this week with some NBA, but here are our NFL picks because these are the we are the four gentlemen you want to be hearing your NFL picks and insight from because one, you love us, and two, refer to number one. First game on Saturday, Los Angeles Rams at Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 7 here. You can get them Rams money line at plus 255, over under 45.5. I'm going to start with you, Kyle. What leans out to you in this game?
Honestly, I'm leaning Rams plus 7. I think with McVay, he's not going to rely too heavily on his quarterbacks, obviously, but he's going to try and lean on the defense, and he's going to try and control the pace of the game so that it's not a high-scoring game, and I think it is going to be a tighter game than most people expect, just given what what Aaron Rodgers' production has looked like this year against top-notch defenses. So I would say Rams plus 7.
So before I go to Josh and Andrew, I'm with you, Kyle. I like the Rams plus 7, and here's why. I think, one, the Sean McVay thing is obvious. I think Sean McVay is a much better coach than Matt LaFleur. We are, though, in the midst of an Aaron Rodgers fuck you tour, and Devontae Adams was the best wide receiver this year. If any cornerback in the NFL could shut down Devontae Adams, who would it be?
It would be
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey, yeah.
The Rams have.
Right.
So I like the Rams plus 7 here a lot because I think that the Packers – they tend to play close. They kind of fool around. We'll see. I am a big dog. I'm flirting with the money line. I am flirting with the Rams money line because I love what Ramsey and Donald could present to them. And I think McVay can outcoach LaFleur, similar to how we've seen McVay outcoach Kingsbury, a coach with maybe a better roster than him in Arizona, where I'm just comparing the young coaches there. But Andrew, I think you're going to feel differently than us, so that's why I'm going to go to you.
Yeah, I like the Packers minus 7 here.
Why? Sell us on it.
So I think the Sean McVay thing's a better coach, and yeah, the second half Packers fuck around. They're not going to be able to keep up, though. I know this defense is legit, but if the Packers score 28 points, I don't see the Rams scoring 14. The Packers have a decent defense. It's going to be 25 degrees there, potential snow showers. The Rams don't know what it's like to play in cold weather. Jared Goff is going to be a cold statue, and he's not going to be good.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers are absolutely winning this game. I kind of like the points a little bit because I do think it's still a playoff game and they played a little close, but I would probably just tease it down, honestly. I would take the Packers -7, tease it down to maybe -1, and combine it with another game maybe you like this week. But then that's probably what I would do. But I don't think the Rams are going to win this game. Cold weather, they playing on the road in Lambeau. Packers have a really good pass rush. It's going to be a fucking uphill battle, and I don't think the defense is good enough compared to what Rodgers did. What I said earlier, like the start of the podcast. So, yeah, I'm going Packers winning out.
Big Dog, is this a nobody believes in us game?
No, that was the Browns. That was the Browns game.
Who's buying the Rams stock besides me and Kyle right now?
I'm not buying them. I think the Packers are winning this. Aaron Rodgers is ready to roll. He touched my heart a little bit last week when he did Aaron Rodgers, you know. And
we should shout him out. So Aaron Rodgers donated to the Barstool Fund.
He's gonna match it all that, but he was a good
shout out to the fucking Barstool Fund. They're at like what $23 million or something for like small businesses and restaurants around the U.S. They did one in San Francisco recently. That's fantastic.
25 million dollars. 3 weeks.
That's fucking fantastic. Okay, gentlemen. Next game. We got Ravens at Bills. Bills favored by 2. Ravens money line plus 115. Over under 50. I have something to say. I have done this podcast for 73 episodes. The lock of the Pineapple Couch podcast history. Bills by 1 billion. The Bills are going to absolutely fuck Baltimore. I think that they are going to win by 17-24. This Bills team, they took their lump against that Colts team, and Josh Allen, I love you, Phil. I love you, Phil. He is going to be able to do a lot better against this Ravens defense. I think this Bills team is legit. I think this Bills team could win the Super Bowl. I would probably put them the Chiefs are probably number 1. The Bills are 2. I think this Bills team is going to make a statement against this Ravens team. I think that Josh Allen knows that his quarterback class was made fun of, how Lamar Jackson went late, and how, oh my God, Josh Allen was taken before him. And I think we're going to see a fuck you game from the Stallion. Hit the fucking music. Stallion. Let's go. Bills by 1 trillion. Josh.
Yeah, I'm a lot more optimistic about the Ravens' chances than you, I think, B-Rob, but this line should be a lot bigger. I think it should be probably about -5 around there. And the fact that it's what is it? What do you have? You said -2.
It's -2 right now.
Yeah. -2, that's easy. It should be a lot higher. The Bills have shown us way more times that they're much more competitive against good teams. I'm hopping in with you. I think Bills -2 is probably my lock as well. I do like the Ravens a lot, but it's apparently there's snow in Buffalo as well on the forecast. So
are you acting like the Stallion can't gallop in snow?
No, I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm wondering. I mean, it might actually. It's going to hurt the Ravens probably.
I don't think I'm too worried about the team from Buffalo having to deal with the elements. Kyle,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were going the other way.
No.
I was about to slap you, Josh.
Yeah.
No. Of course. Fuck down. All right, Kyle. Sorry.
The Bills capped off their season by playing 2 of the last 3 games against very respectable defenses, the Broncos and the Dolphins. And they scored 48 and 56 on those defenses. So, I mean, I know Ravens have a pretty good defense, but this Bills team knows how – the offensive coordinator for the Bills, I forget his name, but he's having a hell of a season. He knows how to pick apart good defenses. I'm also locking – I'm going to lock it in, yeah, -1 Buffalo Bills.
Brian DeBoll is the Bills offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
To you, Big Dog.
So the Bills – they're going to beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, remember? So the Bills are my Super Bowl pick. They're still going to win 27-24. It's just going to be against the Packers now, okay?
All right.
Bills.
I like that.
Lock it in. Bills, I'm locking in the Bills.
All right. I don't even care that we're all on the Bills. I just think that this is. I don't even. Maybe I'll get quoted and made fun of for this. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to make money.
It's like the best line. It's basically a money line.
I love the Bills more than I love anything ever. Ever. More than myself.
Phil.
Well, no, let's not get crazy. I like Phil more than I love myself. Okay. So it's all right, next game. Oh, sorry. I got the Bills offensive coordinator pulled up. I'm gonna change that and get the games right here. All right. We got the Browns at the Chiefs. The Chiefs favored by 10. Browns money line plus 350, over under 57. I've loved what Baker Mayfield has shown over the last 6-7 weeks. I really think he's proved a lot. And I think this Browns team, what they can do with the run game and Myles Garrett on the pass rush is incredibly impressive. With all that being said, Chiefs minus 10. Love that. Love the Chiefs minus 10. The Chiefs are going to fucking destroy them. I think this is going to be I think actually because the Chiefs had the bye and all the Chiefs heard about was, oh man, this Chiefs team just coasted all year. I'm not really sure. I think they take it out on the Browns this weekend. And I think that Bills-Chiefs game, though, is legit. That's going to be coming. But I do think that the Chiefs beat a good Browns team by more than 10. So I'll take the Chiefs there. I'll start with Big Dog. Big Doug.
Yeah, I said it a little earlier. I'm taking the Chiefs here, minus 10. Browns are going to be so happy that they made the playoffs and won a playoff game. They are so happy right now.
Yeah. Good for them. I mean,
it's good. My only concern about the Chiefs is not only that, so they did have the bye week, but it's kind of like they're coming off 2 weeks. So I'm afraid they're going to come off real slow. And Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt because they didn't play week 17. So it's and Kareem Hunt says it's a revenge game for him because, he was on the Chiefs. But Chiefs are going to kill this team.
I'm sorry, a revenge game?
Yeah.
That's what, yes. Cut him after a domestic abuse case?
Yes,
come on.
I don't think you can have that's not a credible
was the meme.
revenge.
That's exactly what the comment said there. That was the absolute reaction. Because they were and I started laughing when I said that because it's Kareem Hunt revenge game. And then the guy's I mean, they didn't kick you off because you weren't talented. Oh, no pun intended. And I'm so glad you had that reaction. I was looking for, Kyle. Chiefs minus 10. More of a reason the Chiefs to be pissed off now.
They wanted to keep him around after that? What did he expect?
I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm not going to say anything
Kareem
else.
Hunt described this as a revenge game?
Kareem Hunt, I'll have to find the article, but I saw, I was yeah, this is a revenge game for me. And it just, dude, what are you talking about? There was video evidence.
I mean, that was bad, but oh, Jesus, Kareem Hunt. I mean, the thing about that is how you want to know how bad that was. Kareem Hunt is a backup running back and gets paid nothing, and he's probably the third or fourth best running back in the NFL. That's how bad that fucking video was, and how probably bad of a dude he is. So that's all that needs to be said about that.
Not to defend Kareem Hunt, she allegedly called him a racial slur. Is the thing. So I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. Nothing beyond that. Not defending him, obviously, completely condemning him. But
did you say that running backs were overpaid?
Yeah.
And
I don't know what it says, but right now, the main thing is Andy Reid responds to Kareem Hunt's personal warning.
That's
so
not
hey,
something
I'm just
you
saying,
want.
The blood is boiling in KC. The blood.
Okay, Kyle, what are you thinking of this game?
After that comment by that piece of shit human being, I hope the Chiefs beat them by 1,000. I got Chiefs minus 10.
Yeah, I'm so. Josh, Chiefs minus 10.
This is the game I'm teasing down actually with the Packers. So I'm gonna tease them down to -4 in a 6-point tease. But I just think maybe I just like being more comfortable with what it is. You never know. The Kareem Hunt revenge game could happen.
It could. That
See how Andy Reid responds to that personal message.
God, you gotta be just so fucking stupid.
No, yeah, I know he's a fucking idiot for that.
Oh God! All right, Last game of the weekend, a NFC South matchup, the matchup of the two oldest starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I guarantee you this matchup will be like the oldest two quarterbacks to ever face each other in the playoffs, and we'll see like 150 graphics about it.
Just passed each other on the whole time. With that pass, he just passed.
Yeah, it will have
each
all
other
of that shit. The Saints are favored by 3. You get the Bucks money line at plus 145, over under 52. I love the Bucks in this matchup. I think the Bucks are starting to click. I know that the Washington it was kind of close, but this is my thing with the Saints. I'm sticking to it. I think about it every year in the playoffs. The Saints, to me, are a regular season team that can show good sparks, but in the playoffs, when it comes down to it, I'm going to take Tom Brady versus Drew Brees. I think the Bucks offense can be more dynamic and they can throw the ball down the field, I think, better because Brees, I just don't think can come up with the big plays as much in the playoffs. And I think that over the past, 5-6 years, that has been demonstrated. So I love the Bucks plus 3 here, and I love the money line. I love both of those. Kyle?
Yeah, so my prediction on the last podcast was Bills Bucks Super Bowl. So I am definitely all over the money line, and I guess the spread. Why not? They're getting some points on it too. But I just think, like you said, they can actually throw the ball downfield. Tom Brady still has actually a pretty good arm. Like he's still hucking the ball downfield.
Very well.
And Drew Brees can't throw it past 5 yards. So I just think, to your point, Brian, the Buccaneers have a little bit more dynamic of an offense to be able to put up big numbers.
Mm-hmm. Josh, what do you think on this? I believe you had the Bucks in the Super Bowl as well.
I did, but to me, this one's a stay away. I just don't trust the Bucks. I know I had them as a Super Bowl pick, but this game scares me. The Saints embarrassed them twice already in the regular season. Maybe they just I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Is Tom Brady going to lose the same defense 3 times in 1 year?
Probably not, but that's kind of why it's a stay away game for me. I don't trust. I don't have a strong read either way on. I remember vividly watching the Sunday night game where they got fucking blown out, completely embarrassed by it, and I'm not gonna have a repeat with that with money on the line on top of that. And I don't trust the Saints at all because they're the playoff frauds, and it's Drew Brees still at what?
So what do you think of the over under 52?
I like the over on that. I think there could be a lot of fucking points scored. The Bucks, obviously, their offense has been clicking, but still though they let up 25 points to Taylor Heineke.
Kyle, what do you think of that over under?
You know, I think I would stay away just because I feel like both teams have the ability to score a lot of points, but at the same time, defenses keep the points down as well too. So it could be fluctuated.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Kyle.
No, I think that's true. There's I think that the Bucks have been one of those teams this year that I don't think it's fair to compare them to the Titans because I think they probably have a higher ceiling, but they're kind of like the Titans where it's been like, what's going to happen? And Andrew actually sent me a thing on Instagram today, I believe, and it was like the records of every team basically if you took it just after the first half, and the Bucks were 8-8. So they have not started strong, so that is something to think about, but I do like them to win this game. Big Dog, what are you leaning on in this game? Is it the Bucks plus the points, the money line, the over-under? What do you think is going to happen here?
So my biggest point, which you guys already said, I think it is impossible for Tom Brady to lose to a team 3 times in a row. The Bucks. I know it's not just Tom Brady, but I think goes for anyone. Beating a team 3 times in a year is so difficult. That's why I didn't think the Browns were going to win last week, because beating the Steelers back-to-back weeks, it's such a hard thing to do. Buccaneers are on fire. Antonio Brown he's back now, or he's somewhat back. He's part of the game plan. Their defense is good. I trust Tom Brady more than I do Drew Brees at this point, even though Tom Brady's a couple years older. He looks better. He's got better arm accuracy. And I think the defense is good enough to keep him in. I like +3.
Yeah, I agree with all those points. I am very excited for this weekend of football. We'll be actually back to our normal schedule this weekend. Sunday night, we'll be recapping all of the weekend of football. Before we wrapped up, gentlemen, I just wanted to ask you guys a quick question because this was news that I believe, did this come out today or yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday. Doug Peterson fired from Philadelphia. I'm just gonna go rapid fire to all three of you. Does this increase? Is Carson Wentz gonna stay now that Peterson was fired? Andrew, yes or no? Josh, yes or no? Kyle, yes or no?
I don't think he stays. I think they're kind of cleaning house there. Obviously, like the fans, I don't know how they feel. I think everyone's so torn, and they go week by week, and everyone's over it. Like the 1 week we love him, 1 week we hate him. So I think he's gone. I would like to say I think Doug Peterson. I know he did some weird whack shit, but a guy that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago and gets fired, I still think that's kind of crazy.
Josh.
I kind of think they keep him around just for the offseason at least. I think they're going to try to do a quarterback battle at the very least and see what Carson Wentz got left in the tank. Because I just think trading away a quarterback at any level like that, when we've seen MVP type performances from him, I just think that's a really dangerous thing to do. And you just don't want to be the guy that trades away. I can't think of a comparison like that, but
I know what you mean.
But yeah, if the quarterback is the most sought after position, and you might, I think it's extremely unlikely, but you might have that guy in Carson Wentz still. I don't think you do if you're the Eagles anymore. I think he's probably gone, and he probably wants out, and he's gonna probably still be good for whoever he does go to. But I think it's too risky. I think you got to hold on to him just for a little bit more.
Okay, and Kyle?
I think he's gone. Especially if there's going to be fans there next year.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
He has made enemies with the Philly fan base because he bitched and complained because he lost his starting job and now he wants out after accepting $100 million from the team. I mean, he's lucky there are no fans this year, or else he'd have gotten shit thrown at him. But I think
agree.
Obviously the gameplay as well too. That's kind of evident in itself, but I just think the Philadelphia organization and just the city itself has a short temper, and they're impatient. And I think their patience is run up with Wentz.
Yeah, and I'll just to cap it off, I think that Kyle, you hit the nail on the head on what I was trying to talk about. I think that it might not be necessarily the best decision for the Eagles as a football organization to move on from Wentz because he might be that guy. But for Wentz, he just wants to get the fuck out of there. And maybe for his mental state, that might be a good thing for him just to get out of there because it really with him, put aside the talent and the injury and maybe not good offensive line play. It just must fucking suck to have known that you got hurt and Nick Foles went and won that Super Bowl and like all that sort of shit and always hearing about that. They can act like that doesn't play a factor in it, but you just have if you're a human, you know that has to play a factor. Yeah. It just has to. So, yeah, we'll of course be updating. We'll do pods with all the news of what was going to happen in this NFL offseason with coaches and all that stuff like that. But obviously, we'll remain focused on this weekend's games. We're going to have a pod on Sunday night breaking down all of that, as well as we're going to be getting into more NBA week by week as we start to transition into that. And then sooner or later, baseball will be around the corner and the pods. Andrew will be very excited for that. And this is actually the first episode we are putting in full on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who watched. And if you're listening and want to check it out on YouTube, check it out there. We're going to be trying that out. So that should be fun. Big Dog, Josh, Kyle, always an absolute pleasure to be talking with you gentlemen about the great game of football. I look forward to this weekend, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll talk to you next time.
Adios.
Cheers.
God bless. This has been the Pineapple Couch, episode 73. We'll see you next time.